So I'm here in Blairgowrie, gateway to the Highlands, with some of the top managers in Scotland, and we thought it would be a good idea just to take a couple of minutes to give a few tips on how to have a really effective launch. This video is aimed at a brand new distributor who's only just started. You're about to have your first product launch, and we want to give you our experience, which is going to help you make sure it's the most profitable event it can possibly be. So let's start with Amanda. First of all, inviting people, making sure people come along. What would you say are the most important things?
And you'll get the best results if you actually physically and verbally invite people. So once you've made your list, get on the phone and invite people along to your launch. And remember, when you're inviting people, it's not to sell to them, coerce them into that they've got to buy product or look at your business. What we want to do is create awareness. So, you know, when you invite people along to your launch, just say you'd love them to come along and find out what you're doing. Don't feel you've got to buy anything. What you want to do is just create that awareness out there about the benefits of these amazing products, but also there is an income opportunity as well. And if they're not interested, they might know somebody else.
I find when inviting people to your launch that some people will say yes and others will say no because they've got other commitments, and that's fine. I also find that some people will be vague and they'll say they'll maybe try to come along, and we generally do a yes or a no. So I often just say to people, look, if you can make it along, great. If you can't, it's not a problem, but I kind of need a yes or a no just so that I know for numbers who's coming along.
I usually invite people 5 to 10 days before the event, but I always think it's a good idea to send a text a couple of days before just to remind them, check if everybody's still coming, just to follow up.
I usually find that after I've invited a person along, I say to them to feel free to invite a friend or a family member or a couple to come along with them, and that way you get better results and more people along to the launch.
My tip on the night would be to keep things simple. Some small snacks and some drinks. If your friends would like some alcoholic beverages, that's okay, or teas and coffees too.
For doing a lunch, it's a good idea to take the starter combi pack and perhaps a Clean 9 pack with you to set up and display the products around the boxes so the group can see what you're going to be talking about and what you have on offer, and also have some prompt cards or cue cards, because quite often when you stand in front of people, your brain can sit back down and you're left wondering what to say.
Your sponsor or your upline manager will be able to show you the cue cards or the prompt cards that they use. All they really consist of is a little bit about the company, a bit about the personal care products, your problem solving products, and also your drinking gels as well.
Before the presentation starts, if you just make sure there's no children or animals in the room, it's just because they can be distracting.
It's important that you start your presentation on time, and when people arrive, just get them a drink and then get them seated and then start on time. Now, if somebody arrives late, you know, get them to come in quietly, but don't then rush off and get them a drink. Just say you'll get them a drink once the presentation's been finished. What you really need to do is view this as your training night, because you're going to be learning more about the products as well. So do have a notebook and pen and take some notes. Don't get up during the presentation and offer people more drinks and things like that. Just make sure you're giving it your full attention.
As you start your presentation, I think it's really important that you remind your guests that it's an information night and that they don't feel they have to buy anything. If the products are not for them, they may know somebody that might benefit from finding out that information. It puts people at ease, and they're a lot more relaxed, and they don't feel pressurised that they have to buy anything.
The presentation normally lasts about 15-20 minutes, and people can come up and ask questions at the end, but you don't want to keep it going on too long because then people's attention gets taken away.
Okay, so during the presentation we would start by talking a little bit about the company and who we are, and then we would talk a wee bit about some personal care products, followed by some problem solvers, so things that will help people with different skin issues. Then we'd probably talk about some of the bee products, and finally we'd talk about all the drinking gels.
Once the presentation's finished, I normally say that I'm going to go and get a drink of water. That just allows people to come up and try the products when I'm not there. Makes everyone a bit more relaxed.
Once the presentation's finished, I always say that if anybody's got any questions, I'm going to get a chance to come around and speak to everybody individually, and that way it puts them at ease if they've maybe got an issue that they'd like to speak to me out with the group situation.
A good idea on the night is to run a prize draw. It means that you can collate people's information, names, address, contact telephone numbers, and it also means that you can have a little bit of fun and somebody will win something at the end of the night.
After the presentation, if you make sure everybody has one of the brochures to have a look through, there is order forms, but you don't have to use them. They could write their order on the back of the questionnaire that they've just completed.
I always just say at the end that there is no obligation to buy anything. However, if somebody does want to place an order, the prices are in the brochure, and just to let the host know what you would like to order.
Just remember to keep it light-hearted and have fun and not be too serious on the night.
So that's it. That's how to do a launch. You've heard it from some of the top people in the business. They're all really experienced in having these successful events. If you follow their advice, you'll have a successful event too. What's the most you've ever made from a launch, you've ever taken at a launch?
About 700, I think.
£700. So that represents...
5, 6 days, I think.
Yeah. What's the most you've taken at a launch?
Yeah, my initial one, I think it was over £600.
Yeah, that's it.
About 625.
Okay. How much was the most you've ever taken?
Only about 400.
Still,
Oh yeah, well, when like 700, they're friendly.
you know, for a night's work, when it's over 100 quid clear profit on the night, about 150 quid clear profit for a brand new person, it's not a bad night's work. What about you? 350? 100 quid profit?
Yeah, £1,000.
£1,000?
About 400,
Yeah.
500.
Yeah. This is the kind of money you can be making from your launches. It's a really important thing for you to do and for you to learn how to do so that you can get your new people off on the right foot making money straight away.